This is
Okay.
it's right behind there. So I'm going to get you to be pushing buttons instead of taking videos. Push the button. Turn it off. Okay, turn it on. Now, at the end of the day, you leave that open. So it evaporates this way, not into the circuits.
All right.
Okay, so this here, this is what you're going to use for dressing the wheels, but you're not going to have to do that for a while. So when it comes down to that, let me know.
All right.
All right, I'll give you one of my cards too. So,
Just a match.
so my mobile number's on there. Okay, so one thing that you're going to do, which is going to be different from what you used to do. Oh, do you have some Scotch tape?
Scratch tape.
Do you have
Get this set.
in here?
Yeah.
That'll work. What this does, there's an opening in the back here.
Okay.
Right, that goes right into the grinding chamber. Okay,
Alright.
you can hook this up to a vacuum system, but without the vacuum system, I'm just going to plug it so that you're not getting as much smell
Okay.
from high index lunges. Okay, so that's just in there. So that's going to help reduce the amount of smell that is potentially there. Down the road, if you want to vacuum, it can actually sit in here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and that'll take out like 90% of the smell. Okay, so what you're going to do every day is you're going to calibrate the tracer.
Calibrate. Okay.
Okay, this is really hard. You put it in like so, push it up, press frame. At the side, you've got this little tab. You press on the tab and you press calibrate.
Calibrate.
The machine does the rest. So that's how complicated it is.
Okay.
If your tracer is calibrated, your sizing is going to be good. Now your target is 162.83.
Okay.
Generally, plus or minus 0.03 is what you would strive
0.03.
for. If it's not in that range, you just do it again.
Calibrate again.
You know, generally speaking, initially you might have to do it a few times. Eventually, it's going to be once, maximum twice.
Twice.
If you think the average human hair is 0.08 millimeters, you're talking about less than the thickness of a hair in total circumference.
Okay.
So it's accurate. Okay.
All right.
If that's accurate, then the rest of it should be one cut for the most part. Now, I know you have Tom Ford frames.
Yeah.
You have designer frames. Those have a narrow, deep groove. You're going to have to resize because the probe goes all the way in, but you have a fixed bevel. So you're going to have to resize. Tom Fords are typically about 0.3, 0.35 millimeters smaller. Okay, so what I would suggest is after you do it, whoa, hold on. No problem. Okay.
Some tape on it then. Right?
I don't know if I have any plumber's tape. The other option, here, hold the clamp if the jig is set. Hold it by hand. The reason being is it can pop forward and land on here and scratch that. So
Okay.
your calibration is finished. You press OK. Okay, and there's 162.87, 162.83. So
Yeah.
you're a little bit off on the right lens. So we're just going to do it again. Again, as I say, okay, so whenever you want to go back, you just go to the home. Okay, so no press frame. And then over at the side, the calibration is in there. Press calib. Okay. And just let it do it again. Now, we're going to do it a bunch of times, and we're going to see, because occasionally there's a difference in size on these here. So this jig may be a little bit bigger on the right side. Okay, so if we do it a bunch of times and it comes out pretty much the same, then that's what you're looking at.
So we can expect the difference between right and left, a 0.1 or 0.2, right? Or it should be.
Again, if you're within 0.03, great. But if, for example, that size is a little bit bigger on your particular jig, then you'll know that there's a difference. Again, it's such a small difference,
difference.
that, you know,
It's hardly matter.
having it precise
It's the best one.
within 100th of a millimeter. You know? But again, it's been moved around. It's been, you know, tossed around. You've got temperature changes. You know, even like it was in the office this morning. But even in a car that's cold, it's going to chill it down.
Yeah. So
All right, bring it in here. It's moving around. It's warming up, but you're going to have a little bit of variance for the next day or two. No, if all else fails, you also have.
manual.
Guaranteed to put you to sleep. It's written by Japanese engineers, translated to English.
English.
So what I'm showing you here is about 3 pages in it. It's
Oh,
actually
okay.
steps, you know?
Okay. So we can.
Hold it. Now put your phone down. Notice we have pop forward.
Okay.
Press OK.
So
86, 83.
So,
So you're within 0.03.
yeah, left
So
is
I
okay.
would say that's good. But
That's
let's just do it one more time just to be sure. Okay. Again,
frame.
normally I would just go with that to start with. But I just want to see if we can get it closer. Excuse me. If I'm coughing, I'm not contagious. 2 weeks
That's
ago I
right.
had a bad cold. It's just the residue.
Yeah.
Yesterday was the first day I didn't take any cough medication, but I do have some.
We generally get without medication better.
Yeah,
Two or three days, yeah.
I'm fine, but you know, you don't need to
Well,
worry. I'm not
that's
contagious. I wouldn't be here if I was. Matter of fact, we had an installation last week. Twice I had to put it off because I was sick. We had to change the date. So now it's just, I think it's just going to trace it one side on each side now, because once it's done the calibration,
Progression.
that's the computer back here.
So
Then
that
it's
is
going to
to.
trace as if it's a full frame, and it's going to bring it down to here.
Okay.
Thank you.
The process is same for half frame or.
No, for a half frame you're going to trace in here. That's what you need that
yeah.
for.
Okay.
85, 82.
Two.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Okay. This here, this is how you can take off, right, the blocking cups. Notice the way that comes in as I push it down. So what that does is it grabs on the on these little nibs, okay, and it peels it off without damaging the coating. If you lose some of these, that's what these are. You've got 6 of them replacements on there.
Okay.
Rarely do they come off, but if it does, that way you're not going to scratch anything. Now you have 2 different colors. Green is right,
Okay.
red is left.
All right.
Okay. If you're
So
a
that's-
boater, that's port and starboard.
But we can switch to left or right. Does that matter?
You can do
or-
however
yeah.
you want.
Okay.
But on here, it's going to show you right and left when you actually trace a frame.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'm going to ask now is that you get a full frame, metal one, or plastic. But a metal is, it either fits or it doesn't, so it's better. A full frame, metal frame, and
Plastic.
assembly rooms. You don't really need a plastic. You can do a plastic if you want. But yeah, if you can just get a couple of frames off the board that we
Okay.
can work with.
All right.
Which one has the sunlight protection?
Yeah, they're there. Okay.
Okay. Or we can do the marking like this. Can I have it? If you don't mind.
You would be able to see those dots on this one. All right. You done with that? Okay, let's wipe that up so we can see whether or not there's any water dribbling out. Let's start off with this one. Start off with this one. All right, so you put the frame in like so, and just tilt it back like so, so it's upside down. Okay. Now you'll notice there's two of these here. There's one at the back. The one at the front is recessed. Okay. And when you push frame, and now you push right and left to trace both sides. If you only want to trace one, obviously you're going to trace right or left. Okay. Now that piece comes down and it locks it in place.
Okay.
And there's your shape. So you put in the patient's PD. So let's say it's a 33. Notice how the target moves.
Okay.
Okay, actually what I'm going to go into, before we get into the...
Just for reading only. Reading only.
This one was an old one. I hope we'll be able to find the picture.
Yeah, that's right. I have everything. Must see it.
Because you're on your direct water, you don't need to have a message telling
No,
you
you know what the measurements are?
to change the water,
Measurement of
because
this lens.
you're not changing the water.
No, the measurement of this lens.
Measurement, what measurement?
In case I want to get another frame on it.
No, they don't fit in here.
They
No,
don't.
rest of land, no. Not waste your money, not. I don't. When you reshape it, it's gone. The reading power from bottom, that is, it's customized land. The length is made for the frame. If you try to change the frame, waste.
Alright.
Not waste your money. It will go waste.
Okay? So like you remove it from this, you can't put it in another one.
Now, only same thing.
So that's what I want to get on this kind of things. So that if I find the glass I can put it.
Then you have to pay for the frame. Then today you should keep this frame, you should buy new frame. Instead of buying new frame for that length, you keep that one and buy new frame for her.
I don't like this frame. It's too small for my eye. That's
Okay,
why
so
I like
that
the
will
bigger.
fit in the same. So that it will be fit in the same size. We can
Yeah,
fit
I
in the
know.
So even though I went out of there, I can always go back into here into the current job. So we're the same place we were.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm changing this to be VL and this one here to box measurements. All right, so from the lowest part up to the datum, like up to the OC height or the seg height. That will be the seg height.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what will be your most common lens material?
So the index is 1.56 and 1.60.
So that'll be high index for the most part.
Alright. So you just, all you have
Okay,
to do
single vision or bifocal or progressive?
Mostly we are doing is single vision,
Okay. What will be your most common frame?
plastic and metal.
Yeah. So I'll put it on plastic. That's a little bit more right now. Okay. SFB, that's your feathering. It's going to do it automatic. What you would do is, with each job, you go into the screen here and make whatever changes.
Okay. We can
Okay.
do that one.
You can do that automatically. I see. Okay, frame change. If somebody breaks their frame and they want to use the same lenses, you can do that. You just push frame change, and what that does is it measures basically lowers the feelers 1.5 mil, so it doesn't slip off the bevel. And then when it's grinding it, adds that back on.
Okay.
The only thing is it does not feather it. Okay. So we go back to here.
So we edited the material from this section, right? We did.
Yeah. So I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to save the display because I changed the box measurements. Okay. So there's your diagram of what you've got.
Oh,
All right. Now, if for example, I put on a polish, now you've got that extra line there that shows that there's a polish on. If I change it to a mini bevel, okay, the polish turns off, but now it's just a little wee tiny one. So for example, for this one here, I would probably use a mini bevel,
okay.
just because it's going to look better.
All right.
All right, but you can't get an edge polish on it. I'm going to leave this at your datum point. Do you guys measure your OC heights on all jobs?
No. we
Okay,
don't.
so it's probably set to datum then for the most part.
Okay.
Okay, so well, now we've filled in all the information. We go to the arrow, and now we're into blocking. So we're going to do the right lens first,
Okay.
which is why the green.
Green.
Okay, so you can still use these here. These are too small.
All right.
Give me one pouch.
Get it started. Give it a sharp pull close by, close to the, and then it comes off easily. Otherwise, it comes apart. And you see this little little thing there? There's a little pin.
Okay.
It goes onto that pin. So that goes down, like so. And now we take our lens and we put it on here, and we line it up nice and easily, like so. Now, as you can see, that's barely going to cut out.
Okay, so we have to move a bit.
So, well, rotated on a stock lens, rotated 180 degrees, it might work actually better. And in this case, it does. Okay, so you don't need to necessarily change it, just rotate it around.
Okay, gotcha, fine.
You can also change it to 2 times magnification to make sure you're on. So what I'm going to do here is in here, a width of 32, I'm going to put it at 33. Nope. Interesting. Those two are on, this one's off.
So might be all marking might be there.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to default that at that. It doesn't really matter. Okay. But now, okay, so now it's going to be there. It's going
So
to
it's
cut out.
inside, yeah.
So one finger,
Flip down.
and that's it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Notice it automatically goes to the left lens. So now you would take your next lens, put it on there, and block
Do
it
the
the
same
same.
process.
I'm just going to do the one because I've only got a few lenses.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to fake it because we've got it set up so that it's supposed to do both eyes.
Okay.
So if you're only doing the right eye, then you just fake it for the left. So now we put this in here with that dash up now, okay? And that fits in. You see how nice and fits in there?
All right.
If I flip it upside down, it's not going to
It's
fit.
not going in.
Okay. It goes in a little bit, but doesn't fit in properly. And I'll chuck. Keep your fingers clear. One lady didn't, and her nail was black in about 10 minutes. She was not a happy camper. Okay. Now, I'm going to actually, right now we have this set on auto. I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to change auto to guide so that you can see what you can do. All right? In guided mode, it does not cut the lens until you tell it to go ahead. Okay, so I'm going to start. Water's on?
Yeah.
No leaks? Okay. Does it make sense so far?
Yep.
So it's tracing where the top of the bevel is, it traces where basically where the bottom of the bevel is, front and back. Measures the base curve, front and back, and the thickness. So it can calculate where it thinks it should put the bevel. Okay, so it's measuring every single point where that arrow is. It's showing you the profile at that place. So when it comes around, I can stop at any place. If I want to go the other way, you go on this side of the arrow, it goes the other way. Stop it, right? So you can actually put it wherever you want. If I push in the middle of the lens, okay, it centers it. Now, that's my thinnest point. There's the profile. There's my thickest point. There's the profile. Thickest point is 4.83 millimeters.
Thickness is
Thin- 2.54. Okay, so you know what you're working with. Now, this being a metal frame, you're going to have about a millimeter sticking out the front. If you don't want it sticking out the front, okay, first of all, your frame curve is a 5.9 diopter curve. The machine is saying, well, let's go to a 4.2. I'm going to go to bevel curve, and I'm going to put in the frame curve. Actually, before I do that, I like putting it at the top so I can see what it's going to look like. Okay, so I can see what it looks like. Now, if I put in the frame curve, that's what the curve is going to look like to match the frame.
Okay.
Okay, now you got a lot showing here. The rest of it's okay. That's a bit much. Okay, I can move that whole thing forward. Let's say 0.3. Oops, minus 0.3. Sorry. Okay, but now that's getting really close to the front here, and you still have a lot on the temporal side, on the nasal side, I mean. So in this case, I'm not going to follow the frame curve. I'm going to put in my own curve. So the automatic setting was a 4.2. Ideally, you want to be within a diopter. So I'm going to change this from 4.2. I'm going to put that as a curve of 5. It's just under a diopter. That's matching that curve. That's not going to, you're not going to have the splaying of the temples, right? So that's going to work out well. I could put a little bit more, let's say a 5.5. Okay, now there's a lot sticking out the front. Okay, that's where it would normally put it. So I could, let's say I had it at minus 0.3, so let's put it at minus 0.6. Now that's pretty much at the front. That's actually not going to look bad.
Yeah. So more thickness is from inside, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm going to put this at minus 0.8. Okay. You still have a little bit of a lip there. Okay. So now I can go to the thinnest point. I don't have enough material.
Oh.
Right? So now, yeah. Okay. I'm going to go to, okay, so now I've got a good lip there. Go to the thickest point. It's going to stick out. Each one of the long lines is a millimeter. Each of the small ones is 2 millimeters. So that's going to stick out about 0.4 of a millimeter. You take a feathering off of that, it's not going to be bad.
Okay.
5.2 versus 5.9. That's within the 1 diopter. You're fine.
Okay.
Okay. So once you've done this, now you just push start. Now this is actually a CR39, so it should have been at CR39, but CR39 versus high index, very little difference, the amount of pressure. High index has a little bit less pressure put on it, so it's going to take a few seconds.
Okay. So bevel curve is basically for when you are to adjust the thickness front or back. That's,
So you do that in guiding.
Okay.
Right? Myself, I would, if I was doing it, I would put them all in guided just because I want to see what it looks like.
Okay.
You're not doing 60 or 70 jobs a day.
No, just basically minimum is 5 to 10.
Yeah. So you would have time to check it, take a look. If it looks good, push start. That's the way I would do it myself. Some people just want to push the button and walk away. So you've got to
That is still fine.
too.
Yeah.
But like in this case, it was a 4.4 versus a 5.9. You might have had a little bit of a split. Okay. Chuck, there's your job. Okay,
To
you
take out
open it
the
up?
screw. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to give it a try?
Yeah.